Hey, my name is Ray and you're watching Ray of Books. Today's video is going to be the 14th installment in my currently checked out series. If you are new to my channel and you've never seen any of my currently checked out videos before, essentially the purpose of this series is to raise awareness about the different types of resources that public libraries provide. I live in San Francisco, so the San Francisco Public Library is the library system that I utilize the most often. However, I also use other library systems throughout California. At the end of each video, I'll be giving you guys a price tally on how much money I saved by utilizing the resources that are available to me through my local public libraries. A little bit of housekeeping to do before we get right into the video. I decided to sign up for bookshop.org's affiliate program, so all of the links down below are going to be affiliate links, or all of the book synopses links down below are going to be affiliate links. I get a 10% commission, and I do strongly agree with Bookshop's mission to financially help out independent bookstores in the US. I think there's also a Bookshop UK where they help out independent bookstores in the UK. So it would really mean a lot to me if you guys did shop from that link if you do choose to purchase any of these books for your own collection. Alright, now that that little bit of housekeeping is out the way, let's get into the books that I've checked out between November 15th and 22nd. The first book that I have checked out is The Good House by Tanana Reeve Dew. This was essentially I was inspired after reading Ring Shout Decision. I decided to do a Google search to see what other Black horror authors are out there, and I came across this blog post called 20 Great Black Horror Authors You Should Read, or something along those lines, by a woman named Stephanie Malone. I'll leave it linked in the description box down below. And this was one of the books that pretty much instantly caught my eye and seemed incredibly interesting. From my understanding, The Good House is about a woman named Angela who returns back to her beloved family home 2 years after her son Corey died there. Apparently, there is a terrifying entity, senseless calamities, and a potential curse cast by Angela's grandmother. It sounds like a pretty good kind of spooky read, and I do love a good haunted house book. I don't know how long it's been since I read a haunted house book. I feel like it's been since maybe middle or elementary school when R.L. Stine had The House on Fear Street or something. Along those lines. Anyway, I am pretty excited to read it. And another thing that I keep meaning to do in my videos is mention which library that I've checked out the book from, or which library system. The Good House is checked out from MarinNet. The second book that I have checked out is one that I've actually had checked out for longer than just this week, but I recently refound it in my house, and it is Agents of Dreamland by Caitlin R. Kiernan. I checked this one out from the San Francisco Public Library. Basically, I have no clue what this book is about. It's part of that novella keyword search I was telling you guys about 2 weeks ago. And novellas from that are going to keep popping up for a while to come, I believe. And I literally cannot comprehend what in the world drew me to it. Looking at the genre and subject headings in Bibliocommons for it, I am really confused. It's in the science fiction / fantasy category, which means it's probably more science fiction than fantasy. And the subjects that it apparently covers within the novella is intelligence officers and cults. The synopsis mentions a dude named Signal Man, which is an interesting name, who is trying to figure out something about an event that occurred at a ranch a week previous than when the story starts. There is also something about a cult that is abducting the weak and the susceptible. I wonder what they're susceptible to, and a mention of NASA. I'm super nervous about reading this because science fiction is one of those genres that I feel like makes me feel like I'm dumb. So I'm nervous about reading this, but I think probably what happened is that since it's a novella and since it's so short, I figured it might potentially be a good way for me to get into novellas. Not get into novellas, but get into science fiction. The third item, or the third book that I have checked out is Creatures of Will and Temper by Molly Tanzir. I checked this one out from the San Francisco Public Library. I have absolutely no recollection of why I requested it. According to the synopsis though, it seems like a cool story. It takes place in Victorian era London, has some fencing involved, has a LGBTQ romance situation going on, and also deals with a cult and secret society and a group of people who are trying to eradicate demons from Earth. The next two items that I currently have checked out are both ebooks. And before you leave a comment saying I thought you were done with ebooks, I thought you weren't messing with ebooks no more, I thought your eyes hurt, I thought they're giving you a headache, I had to go back. Both of these items are checked out through SFPL through their Hoopla offerings. And if you don't know what Hoopla is, I will leave a link in the description box down below letting you know what it is. But really quickly, I will let you know that it is a e-book, e-audiobook, and graphic novel / comic in the digital version platform that is really amazing. You can get a certain number of borrows every month depending on your library system, and there is never any wait for anything that you want to check out. Anywho, the first ebook that I have checked out is The Queen's Gambit by Walter Tevis. I know that I mentioned The Queen's Gambit before. I mentioned that I watched the show thanks to a New York Times article, and now I have the book. Basically what happened is I couldn't request this from SFPL because I maxed out my 25 item physical hold, and the hold list for it through Marinnet was a little long. I think at the time that I last checked there was one copy in the system and there were 24 holds on that one copy, so taking into account that a lot of the Marinnet items are being quarantined for X number of days and there's not really fines going on right now, I probably wouldn't have gotten that book for a pretty solid 3 to 4 months, but Hoopla had it and now I have it. Basically, both the show and the book are centered around this girl named Beth Harmon, who at the age of 8 becomes an orphan. She goes and lives at an orphanage where she's all sorts of drugged up on tranquilizers, and while she's at this orphanage, she discovers that she is a chess genius by playing against the janitor. The story basically follows her as she grows up dealing with her various addictions and as she tries to balance her addictions with the genius of her chess play. It is really a very good Netflix show. I'm hoping it's also going to be a very good book, and I'm really excited to read it and see how the book and the show differ. The next item is a graphic novel called Something is Killing the Children by James Tynan IV. Basically, I cannot go on Hoopla without checking to see what's new or popular in the comics / graphic novel section, and this one is one that has been on my radar for a while. However, when I was finally ready to check it out and when I was finally like cleared of all the things that I've been reading previously, I was sick and tired of ebooks. So I'm feeling like I could do it now. I'm hoping that I can do it now because it does sound really good. It's about a small town where children go disappearing, and more often than not they stay gone, and then the children that do come back talk about nothing but monsters and have these horrific stories. Enter a mysterious stranger named What is her name? Erica Slaughter, which is a very fitting last name, who believes the children and gets to work killing monsters because that's what one does. It does sound super good, and I'm pretty excited to read it, and I'm really hoping that I'm over my ebook fatigue. I also used a digital resource this week, and that was the New York Times. I'm not going to include this in my final price tally just because technically if I paid for it last week, it would still be good this week because it would be a 1-month subscription. So not including the price tally, but I still want to let you guys know that I did use the New York Times this week. I know that I said I was trying to get more into like the newsy news, but instead what I ended up doing was just reading a whole bunch of really interesting random sporadic articles. And my favorite one from this week comes from the Metropolitan Diary column, I believe it's called. And oh my gosh, I'm not gonna remember the name of the thing. I think the title of the article was "It's Getting Really Hard Not to Eavesdrop on the Two Men Sitting Next to Me." And basically the article is just a series of like really short diary entries from people who live in New York, and it's about like kind of like one random specific part of their day. And I thought that was so cute and so interesting, and I don't know, it kind of inspired me to want to write little mini random diary entries of my own. The key word though is want. Will I actually do it? Who knows? And that is it for all of the books, ebooks, and resources that I've used from the public library systems near me this week. The total amount of money that I saved is $90.41. Now, of course, I have questions for you guys. The first of which is the usual question is, what do you guys currently have checked out? If you don't have anything currently checked out, what are you currently reading? And the bonus question for this week is, what is your favorite genre? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help me out in the YouTube algorithm. And if you ever want to see and or hear me babble about books ever again, please hit that subscribe button. It really does mean the world to me. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day and reading a wonderful book, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!